Hi, everyone, and welcome to Juno Sphere, where we learn about a whole sphere of topics that are interconnected, just as we are all interconnected. The purpose of this video is to enlighten and entertain you, and maybe even scare you a little. Today, Juno looks under the sheets to see if she can uncover the truth about ghosts. Come along and we'll explore together, if you dare. The word ghost is a popular term for a supposed apparition of the dead. Psychical researchers tend to use the term apparition. Ghosts are often depicted resembling human form and described as fog like. They can be visible, but they can also make their presence felt with strange noises, smells, cold air, the switching of lights on and off, and by movement of objects. The ancient meaning of the term ghost typically refers to the disembodied soul, which, after death, is thought to travel to the underworld or afterlife. Beliefs vary as to what happens to the soul after death, but virtually every culture has believed at some point that the ghost can return to the world of the living, and when they return, they can have either good or bad intent. The word ghost is a cognate of the word guest, both words rooted in Germanic Geist, originally a spirit of a dead ancestor, invited to tribal feasts on such occasions as Samhain or Halloween and other ceremonies. The earlier, more benevolent type of family ghost is still suggested by the identical pronunciation of ghost and guest in northern England. The anger of ghosts was most feared by people who refused to honor them as guests. In the West, those who believe in ghosts sometimes hold that they are the souls of those who cannot find peace in death or realize that they are dead, and so they linger on earth. Their inability to find peace is often explained as a need to deal with unfinished business, to deliver advice or information, to protect, to stay close to loved ones, or simply to reenact death. In some cases, the unfinished business involves a victim seeking justice or revenge after death. The ghosts of criminals are sometimes thought to linger to avoid purgatory, hell, or limbo. Ghosts can have good or evil intentions. Sometimes they appear with an essential message that they feel necessary to impart to a living being, possibly as evidence of survival after physical death. Ghosts represent the almost universal need for human beings to believe in a form of consciousness that exists after the physical death of the body. The idea that when a material being dies, it leaves behind a shadowy imprint that will haunt the places it once inhabited is one that resonates around the world. The pervasiveness of the idea of the ghost indicates that it plays an important and deep rooted part in the human psyche. Even the concept of a heaven or hell or other afterlife as a home for the disembodied spirit has not changed the fact that for many people, ghosts actually exist. Ghosts do not have to be human. Animals, too, can haunt the places of the living. Have you ever seen the ghost of a deceased pet? Communications with ghosts used to be called necromancy and was considered by superstitious Christians to be one of the black arts. Today, this practice is called spiritualism, and the form of a spiritualist ritual includes a nod to a Christian god at the beginning and end of the ceremony. This is despite the fact that in Christian belief, ghosts that still walked the earth were generally of those people who had not been buried under the auspices of the church and were therefore to be avoided. The old festival of Samhain, renamed as Halloween, is said to be the time when the veil between two worlds is at its thinnest, the time of the ending of the pre Christian year and the beginning of the new one. This time is traditionally set aside to acknowledge the ghosts of the ancestors. Because of their old superstitious belief that once a year the dead came to life, the festival came to be called All Hallow Even or All Souls Eve. Pope Gregory IV in 837 set aside November 1st as All Saints' Day for honoring the saints instead. Although at first the day was observed only in the church, lower classes took an interest in the festival. They circulated weird tales about ghosts and goblins being abroad on the eve of All Saints' Day and built great bonfires to keep them away. Fears were calmed by groups getting together and feasting on nuts and apples from the summer harvest. This lasted all night, as they were afraid to go to bed lest a ghost or spook would be there. A ghost is a spirit or apparition, usually of someone who has died. Ghosts frequently haunt places that they were associated with when alive. They are also frequently found at crossroads. Criminals and suicides were buried at crossroads to make it harder for their ghosts to find their way back home to haunt their relatives. People who were born in the hour after midnight are believed to be better at seeing ghosts than others. In Europe, it was believed that people born on a Sunday were able to see ghosts. In Scotland, it was commonly believed that people born on Good Friday or Christmas Day had this ability. If ghosts bother you, you can avoid seeing them by wearing a ring of chalcedony or basalt. Alternatively, you can repel Christian ghosts by holding up a crucifix. Many European peoples preserved the heads or skulls of ancestors, which were set up, painted, and decorated in a prominent position at gatherings of the clan, and were consulted for oracles after being offered their portion of the collation. Hence, the death's head at the feast. During their Christian times, the custom was discouraged, for the Church's doctrine of resurrection of the flesh forbade burial of bodies without heads. Nevertheless, the visiting ghost was an ineradicable belief. Ghosts were supposed to haunt all the scenes of their former lives, especially if they died violently or unhappily, or were buried in unconsecrated ground, or had possessed evil spirits. Ghosts were believed to be entertaining in their former homes, sitting around the fire with their living relatives serving them refreshments. It was also believed that any harm that might be inflicted by a wicked soul could be lightened by gifts. A good soul was believed to enter the body of another human being for the occasion, but the wicked ghosts, bewildered, had to roam about in search of some form of abode. Though there have been abandoned towns and deserted villages since the earliest days of civilization, The term ghost town describing them did not come into use until the settlement of the American West. Such towns, empty or in ruins, suggesting places where only ghosts could live, were usually in regions where gold or silver deposits were mined out or that the railroad passed by, causing people to move off to more prosperous places. The term appears to have first been recorded around 1870. The phrase ghost walks refers to payday, and all the salaries will be paid, and is said to have originally been a 19th century British theatrical expression. A theatrical company doing Hamlet hadn't been paid for a month or so. When during a performance, Hamlet explained, "Perchance 'twill walk again," the actor playing the ghost answered from the wings, "No, I'll be damned if the ghost walks any more until our salaries are paid." That night, the salaries were finally paid. The definition of the phrase ghost of a chance refers to the least likelihood. He doesn't have the ghost of a chance means that he has no chance at all. A ghost train is a train seen running at a time when none is scheduled, especially silently or after dark. In railway slang, a ghost train is a night running de-icing train on electric railways equipped with conductor rails. The phrase "to give up the ghost" means to die. The idea is that life is independent of the body and is due to the habitation of the ghost or spirit in the material body. Every culture has superstitions and beliefs about ghosts, but both the West and the East share some fundamental ideas. There are often procedures and rituals for dealing with troublesome ghosts, such as exorcism. Ghosts may wander around places they frequented when alive or where they died. Contrary to popular belief, most ghosts are not reported at graveyards where their body may be buried, but in houses and buildings where a person may have died, suffered, or lived for many years. Many ghosts are reported when conditions are foggy and could well be explained as tricks of the light, just as those reported during thunderstorms may be caused by electrical charges in the atmosphere. Although there are reports of appearances during the day, the majority seem to appear at night. It's possible that a person is more sensitive to clairvoyance when relaxed or asleep at night. Many ghosts also appear during dreams. However, some believe that ghosts reported to have been seen at night when a person is wide awake may actually be hallucinations that occur when they are drifting off to sleep. Please check out Juno's video titled October Superstitions, Ghosts in Dreams for more information. While some believe ghosts to be an objective reality, skeptics argue that there is always a simple explanation. First of all, the sincerity and motive of the person reporting the haunting will be called into question. There have been instances when reputed sightings of ghosts have been fabricated as a scare tactic to seek justice or revenge. The possibility of a hoax or con is considered, and then explanations grounded in knowledge about human physiology are offered. For instance, the appearance of ghosts is often associated with a chilling sensation and pale, semi transparent apparitions. But a natural response to fear is hair raising, which can be mistaken for chill, and the peripheral vision is very sensitive in detecting motion, but does not contain much color or provide focused shapes. Therefore, movement outside the focused view, such as a moth darting towards a light or a curtain moving, can create a strong illusion of an eerie figure. And certain infrasonic frequencies are known to create unexplained feelings of anxiety or dread, which are so often associated with sightings of ghosts. Finally, psychological factors are often cited as natural explanations for ghost sightings. Susceptible people tend to be prone to exaggerated interpretations of sensations or feelings they experience when visited by a reputed sight or haunting. Frederick Myers, one of the founders of the Society for Psychical Research in London, believed that ghosts were manifestations of persistent personal energy, or an indication that some kind of force is being exercised after death, which is in some way connected with a person previously known on Earth. Myers believed that ghosts were projections of consciousness without a conscious identity, but more recent research has argued that ghosts may possess some kind of awareness. Ghost investigators have found that in the majority of cases, there are natural explanations for sightings, but this still leaves a tiny number, perhaps as small as 2%, that just can't be explained naturally. However, skeptical or unconvinced the investigator, there is as yet no definitive answer as to whether ghosts are genuine or figments of the imagination, or if they have personality or are flashbacks of the past. There is a universal belief that certain people born on certain days or certain times of the day have the clairvoyant ability to see ghosts and the things other people cannot see, and they are called a ghost seer. A person born on a Sunday is thought to have clairvoyant powers in some parts of Europe, and in some parts of England, children born during twilight are thought to be able to tell which relative will die next. In Scotland, people born on Christmas Day or Good Friday are said to be able to see spirits. In other parts of the world, it is believed that only shamans and seers can see ghosts, and others can see them only in dreams. Ghost sickness is a belief that ghosts of the recently deceased can cause disease and even death to the living. The spirit of the dead person is thought to linger near its body in the first few days after death, before journeying to the place of the dead, and during this time it is thought to be lonely and likely to seek the company of humans. Children are thought to be particularly vulnerable, as their souls are less firmly attached to their bodies. This belief is rooted in many tribal societies around the world, where preparations are made to ensure that the dead cannot find their way back to the house they lived in. The relatives would typically move to a new house, and to mention the name of the dead was strictly forbidden. Fear of ghost sickness could explain some funeral rites and customs, such as carrying a corpse out through a window rather than the door, to make it difficult for the ghost to find its way back home. Even though a ghost is feared most in the first few days after death, in many cultures, seeing any ghost is also thought to be a death omen. So, have you seen a ghost? Do you have any pictures or video evidence? I would love to hear about them in the comments below. For more October Superstitions videos, check out the growing library of videos on Junosphere. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share, and jingle that bell to receive notifications. I'm so appreciative of your support. Thanks for tuning in, and I invite you to tune into Junosphere again soon. Bye.